Hi, everyone. Welcome to the episode of Humanly Speaking, the podcast where we explore how today's leaders are building more human workplaces in the age of transformation. I'm your host, Kuljit Chadha, entrepreneur, a lifelong passionate learner, and someone who believes that great ideas happen with, talking to great people. Today's guest is someone who is absolutely mastered the art of combining heart, strategy, and humor in the world of HR. I'm very, very pleased to welcome Michelle G. As her friends call her Mitch. She's a CHRO and an admin officer for one of the leading insurance companies in Philippines. That's Malayan Insurance. She has more than 25 years of experience across organizational development, leadership, culture. And one thing which I'm very, very interested in is workplace experience design. And what's also very interesting is she also co leads a ministry of teens in Manila. That's very, very interesting. So she's someone who is, shaping the future inside and outside the office. And you know why today's episode is super important? Because, I'm very impressed with Mitch's philosophy that when you design for people, you're actually designing for resilience. And that's the reason, today's episode is titled as Designing Work That Endures Through People and Purpose. So, welcome, Mitch. Very, very happy and excited to have this conversation with you.
Well, thanks for having me, Kuljit. It's a pleasure to be able to have this conversation. And thank you for your warm introduction.
Thank you. So, let's start with your journey and let's start all the way to the beginning. You've had multiple experiences, you've worn multiple hats in your career. Can you talk to us about few experiences that have really shaped, your leadership style, Mitch?
Well, actually, all throughout my life, I've had different mentors. From when I was in high school until in college, when I was a young HR professional, and even now, late in my career, I still have mentors. But sometimes it's the tough challenges, tough situations that actually, you know, uh, help you pivot and defines your leadership, right? And maybe I can share one if that's
That'd be
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the most recent is my move to here to Malayan, and that was in the beginning of 2020, just a few days after the COVID lockdown was declared in the Philippines. So I was fasting. It was like my first day after 23 years. I was a new employee. And as HR, we know how to onboard, we know how to, help people immerse. But I, I wasn't ready to be the one, be the one being immersed. I didn't realize it was hard to be a new employee again after such a long time. And so it was a struggle because it's a transition. But what made it harder was it was COVID. It was COVID-19. I actually it was a good timing that I moved to Malayan because that was when they needed somebody to hand health and safety, help people change mindsets and prepare them for um uh looking at digital transitions, remote works. It was tough, right? And then I was actually you know working with people I do not know yet. They were new. I was new pala. I was new and I don't know them. And I also have not seen them face to face because I came in during the lockdown. So I it took 6 months before I met people, a group of people of more than 10. And it was actually a real struggle working on programs, designing on programs, remotely. I'm very used to high touch environment as HR, and the transition to high tech was okay. That's easy for me, but not being able to see people that you serve is really tough. Yeah, so the first time I was going to see a group of 10 people or more, I was actually in tears, so excited, overwhelmed with the emotions that I was finally seeing people. So yeah, that's also a defining point in my leadership journey.
Hey, first of all, Mitch, thank you so much for, being very, very honest about the kind of experience you had. I can imagine you saying that you're crying when you see people. That was a difficult time for us. It was unprecedented. At least for me, I didn't know where was my personal life stopping and when was my professional life stopping and starting. So it was difficult time for all of us. But can you tell us a little bit that how did it change your approach specifically, leading people virtually? That's something that I've personally struggled. Like you, I'm also a person who likes to be in an office, whiteboard the problem statement, collaboratively talk about it, solve. But that changed during COVID time. How did it change your approach to lead people virtually?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, high tech was easy, but the high touch, not being high touch is a struggle. So I actually turned to my team, uh built the team. So it's you have to I had to create intentional conversations. So I didn't know them personally yet, so I have to build relationships and be able to stage conversations. We did FGDs. We did so for my own team, not just meetings. We looked at different channels, various channels, to be able to exchange information. Yes, we of course used virtual communications, like video calls and stuff like that. But I think what was more important is to also be intentional in planning meetings and being able to monitor each of the tasks that they have to accomplish, and not overwhelm them as well with the things that they have to follow up with. So at first it was a mess actually, because these are the deliverables we had to make, right? But turning to the team was important. Looking at them, or even being vulnerable enough to ask for help and get support from the whole team. So that was really very useful, especially in a remote environment. You can't be you can't always sit as the leader. um you can allow others to actually co-lead with you. So yeah, the team was very important to be effective in a remote remote.
One thing I remember about COVID is, the starting of the COVID was very, very difficult. But we figured out our ways of ensuring that the bond is not lost. And we were ensuring that, we met as a team around 4 o'clock with our coffees and just chit chatting, but
Yeah,
so that we
yeah.
could lose that connection. But thank you so much for sharing
Yes,
that
that's connection.
story. Let's move forward. I like experience specifically focused on workforce transformation that has shaped you as a leader, Mitch.
Well, in terms of workforce transformation, I'd like to go back to a project we had in the past, wherein we had to transfer our head office to another location, another city in here in Manila. So we were in Makati, and we have a 400 workforce, and we bought a new office in Ortigas, so like another city. So we run a survey. We ran a survey and to check, whether people are okay to move to Ortigas. And right there and then we saw that, out of the 400, 100 will resign. So we were like, we were. somehow, we had problems and just planning and thinking about how we can move people with less than 100, a workforce, right? So what we did was staged different programs, and one of the effective ones was really finding out why they didn't want to move. Aside from maybe it's a different place, but it's really more about the commute. That and they saw that the employees saw that they will be walking farther if they move there, so the location makes them walk more. So commute was harder. So one of the programs we did was 10,000 steps. So not just for health, but we started people walking. We put a reward of 10,000 pesos for whoever will walk far farther or had more steps. And so people started walking. They got used to it. And so when we transferred to Ortigas, the commute was easy for them. The walking was just natural for them. We also asked our managers to work with us in setting up their meetings. It's like a field trip in Pasig. So they visited different restaurants there and saw the place, and so people saw that it was actually a good place to work. And in the end, we kept people though, and after 2 years, 4 people left. So that was okay. From the 100 that who had intentionally wanted to leave. So I think that nudge was really very effective.
Who would have thought that a step challenge like this could actually be a transformational strategy? Very, very impressive. It's a great combination of gamification and empathy for people. Which that's a great story. Um, Today the world is all about transformation with what Gen AI is doing. If you had to give, one advice to the other HR leaders, specifically how to be ready on in the world of Gen AI, what would be one advice that you would give to the HR leaders?
I just heard from a talk I was in this morning that we have to learn faster than change, and I believe that. It resounded well with me. I mean, yeah, I think that's right. But I wanted to add more to that because I don't want us to just jump the bandwagon, AI and all of digital transformation. I actually I don't resist it, but I think uh we need to prepare for AI. We need to learn it well, learn it deep, and be above it. You need a wisdom above AI, so that it doesn't out it doesn't outsmart us, because it's really very intelligent, right? So, but we don't want to be outsmarted by it. And what's critical is for us to build the values, the ethics, um, and the principles that keep us, that makes us human, value our humanness more. And this is the wisdom behind and beyond AI. It prepares us not just for the good things that it brings to us, but also prepares us for the things that he for now we are not able to understand yet or prepare for, right, in the future.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. I've been talking to a lot of HR leaders, and rather than using Gen AI capabilities in silos and for Gen AI to be embedded within the fabric of the organization, it requires a lot of change. And the biggest learning for at least us is which are the organizations that are bringing in a change management within the organization to actually upskill and reskill their HR leaders so that they understand what Gen AI can do and cannot do. So thank you so much for sharing that, Mitch. Now going to the interesting part of the podcast, we're going to do rapid fire round, which uh, don't think, just
Okay.
first thought that comes into your mind. Um, can you tell us a book or a resource that changed your perspective?
That's uh Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. I like that it's the empathy there, designing for human or human centered design. I like that book.
Nice. Your favorite way to de-stress after a long day at work?
Oh no, you're gonna make me confess. I watch K drama.
Some Korean drama?
Okay, yeah.
You know,
I learned that from the teens ministry I was leading because we were in the teens ministry. They taught us K-pop and K-drama and stuff like that. So that's what I get from the kids.
nice, very nice. Uh, if you were not in HR, what you would be doing today, Mitch?
Planting. I'll be a farmer.
I have this dream that once I retire, I'm going to have a small farm where there'll be a small yoga center. Plus, I'll be doing farming. That's my idea for retirement.
Oh, if you want to see, that's my garden over there.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Last question.
So yeah, I love planting.
Sorry. Please go on. What were you saying, Mitch?
I love planting. I just want to share that.
The last question. What motivates you outside work, Mitch?
Well, aside from birth plants, it's the teens ministry, the youth ministry that my husband and I are involved in. We just finished an outreach project in May where we helped pediatric cancer patients in a local hospital here. It was very meaningful and life changing even for our teens ministry. So it keeps me happy. It keeps us young, feeling young to be in the youth. We learn a lot from them, and it also gives me hope that for the future, because these kids are very absorbing. They love to learn. So
Oh, that's very impressive, Mitch. That's like really gets, I'm sure this kind of work would be giving you true satisfaction in the heart, right?
yeah,
Thank you, Mitch, for this heartwarming and insightful conversation. I loved all the stories that you shared about the COVID, about the step up challenge. And, I'm taking back few things with me. One is the power of community. And second is it takes a lot of courage for transitions and transformation. And the last thing that I'm going to take is I can't still believe that a step up challenge can be a transformation strategy. That will always stay with me for life. Uh, to our listeners, if this episode you enjoyed, you liked it, do share it with the friends, family, and colleagues, and do subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you next time and keep learning and keep it human. Thank you, Mitch. Take care.
thank you, Kuljit.
Bye.
Bye.